Switching gears, I'll take care of the business at hand after my conversation with the Representative Thaddeus McCotter. I want to get to him. He's calling long distance. It was a quiet, if not secret, congressional delegation trip with a few other congressmen and women. And Representative Thaddeus McCotter is on the other end of our line, calling in from somewhere from either South Korea and Taiwan or in between. Congressman, good morning.
Good evening, Paul W. from Seoul, South Korea.
All right, you are in Seoul now, South Korea, and visiting with some of our troops in the DMZ. And there's a great deal of concern about North Korea. What can you tell us? I'm gonna turn my mic off because I'm in a very loud place, and I just want to hear kind of a report from you, Thaddeus.
Okay, Paul W. Well, we started off with a briefing from General Thurman, commander of U.S. forces and the combined U.S. ROK, United Nations forces here. Obviously, the situation here is very tense. It's been that way since the ascension of the sun to run North Korea. They've been acting in a very provocative manner, and the key is to have cool heads and not be baited into doing something that might escalate. I feel very confident in General Thurman and the troops. They're very well trained, very well disciplined. They work very well with our allies. Very confident that they will avoid engagement over provocation. Secondly, when we go to the DMZ, it's very difficult for people in Michigan, perhaps, or anywhere in America to understand what it's like to have a neighbor to the north that's a nut, and one that wants to be nuclear. A nut whose own people find it so hellish to live in their society due to their oppressive government that they try to escape to communist China for relief. Later, the day after coming back from the DMZ, Chairwoman Ross Layton and myself attended a candlelight vigil in front of the Chinese embassy here in Seoul to demand that they stop repatriating North Korean refugees back to what may be certain imprisonment and maybe even death.
Just has to be a most sombering and incredible experience for you. Congressman Thaddeus McCotter on the line live from Seoul, South Korea, on a congressional delegation trip to the DMZ, as you've heard, with a growing threat of North Korea. And you're absolutely right, and you always speak plainly and to the truth, the nuts of North Korea. And checking, too, with the South Koreans to see how complying with the new free trade agreement will impact trade with Michigan's 11th District.
Absolutely. They're very committed to implementing it and to making sure that there are no sudden changes back to barriers to entry. As you know, with the South Korean free trade agreement, we saw across the board support for that, not only from farmers, but from the manufacturing sector, including all three auto companies, as well as auto workers, which is very rare, as you know. So the key is to make sure that our attempt to break down those barriers and get American products in there and compete and succeed are not blocked by non-tariff barriers down the road or by a misunderstanding over the language of the language of the implementing legislation here or at home. I think that both sides are committed to seeing that this works. Very important, because not only does it reaffirm the commitment to trade amongst our nations and greater access for U.S. and Korean products in reciprocal fashion, it also shows that the United States is committed to our ally here, not only militarily, but economically. And it signals to communist Chinese that we aren't going anywhere anytime soon as Pacific power.
Well put. And as you visit with our American and specifically Michigan troops there at the DMZ, I don't even know if this word could get to you yet with your travel schedule and the fact that you are, it's nighttime there, but you may or may not have heard that 10 members of our Michigan National Guard were hurt in an attack, the worst attack in years on the Michigan National Guard, any Michigan National Guard unit. And the young people from the Dowagiac based 126 Cavalry wounded in northern Afghanistan. One lost both arms and two suffered serious head injuries. And it just indicates, again, the danger of our world and what our Michigan troops are facing, and nice of you to go and to meet with them wherever you can to offer your support, Congressman.
Well, thank you, Paul W. And what it really, truly shows is the courage and the valor of our men and women in uniform, be they from Michigan or from any other state, and the immense sacrifices that they make, as well as the burden that is put on their families, and to send their loved ones off to a very dangerous situation, not only to defend our liberty, but to stand it up.
Anything else we need to know, Congressman, before we let you go there in Seoul, South Korea?
Is we have to continue. Yes, the last thing I'd like to say is that we are increasingly, with the rise of communist China, we are increasingly viewed as more and more indispensable to our allies. And the key for the United States is to make sure that we let our allies and the PRC and the whole world know that the United States is not a power that is indispensable and in decline. We are a power that is indispensable because of the nature of our liberty and the fact that we are here to preserve and promote it for ourselves and others.
Well put. Safe travel to you, Representative Thaddeus McCotter, a congressional delegation with some other congressmen and women to South Korea and Taiwan, speaking to us live this morning from Seoul, South Korea.